Welcome to Highway Herald, your roadmap to the latest in auto. Today, we're diving into the world of electric vehicles in China. The era of rapid EV technological advancement has reached its peak, and now, it's time for consolidation. The next chapter doesn't look promising for the multitude of EV companies, as only a handful are expected to survive. The ominous sea of blood is on the horizon, and we've identified 7 reasons why a wave of bankruptcies is about to hit the industry, leaving thousands jobless. Reason number 7, the impending sea of blood. Just a few weeks ago, the CEO of Li Auto, one of China's largest EV manufacturers, called for government intervention to prevent an industry-wide collapse. He warned that companies must unite or perish in the face of fierce competition. The phrase "sea of blood" has been used to describe the potential fallout if the current trajectory continues. With a staggering 91 EV manufacturers in China, it's clear that not all will survive. Yet some remain optimistic, announcing plans for 30 new models in the next 3 years, despite never having turned a profit. The Chinese EV market is saturated, and while it's not a free market in the traditional sense, the laws of nature dictate that not all can thrive. The recent wave of bankruptcies, coupled with projections of more in the coming months, underscores the urgent need for action from both the government and the industry. Reason number 6, BYD's stock buyback. The Chinese EV industry has seen significant growth in recent years, but it's now facing challenges so severe that even leading companies are resorting to unusual tactics. Take BYD, for example. Its chairman and CEO, Wang Chuanfi, recently proposed a stock buyback to bolster the company's share price. The plan is to double the number of A shares, costing the company around $55.6 million. A company buying back its own shares is generally not a positive sign. In this case, it's clear that the goal is to boost stock prices, which have taken a significant hit over the past year. The ongoing price war is taking its toll on everyone, including BYD, one of the world's largest EV manufacturers and one of the few profitable Chinese EV companies. However, its stock price fell nearly 8% in the first 2 months of this year alone, and by 23% in 2023. While this move may be intended to protect shareholders and boost investor confidence, from an outsider's perspective, it raises serious concerns about the sustainability of the Chinese EV industry and the economy as a whole. Reason number 5, the bankruptcy wave. Even industry giants like BYD are resorting to extraordinary measures, which gives us a glimpse into the struggles of smaller companies. It's no surprise that in recent months, 5 Chinese EV manufacturers have declared bankruptcy. Some of these companies were once seen as promising contenders. Take WM, for instance, a startup with advanced technology and a substantial capital of $5.3 billion. Despite these assets, they couldn't keep up with the demanding Chinese market and cover their losses. They're now on the hunt for new investors, but the prospects look bleak. The case of Evergrande New Energy Auto's bankruptcy is particularly intriguing. As part of one of China's largest conglomerates, this startup had virtually limitless resources. Yet, massive investments and minimal sales led to a staggering loss of $17 million on every EV sold. Other companies like Neutron and Letton, the latter once considered a Tesla competitor, have also filed for bankruptcy. The grim reality is that the same fate awaits many other EV companies this year, with experts predicting between 20 and 30 bankruptcies. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now let's explore reason number 4, the EV graveyards. In major cities across China, you'll find what's known as EV graveyards, filled with thousands of abandoned EVs. These graveyards symbolize the rise and fall of the Chinese EV industry. 2 decades ago, the government decided to promote EVs as a way to compete with Western automakers. This led to massive government investments in electric vehicles. EV startups sprouted rapidly, capitalizing on this support. They found it easy to secure generous incentives and develop new technologies, with profit taking a back seat. As the industry grew, Chinese officials realized the need for stricter incentive requirements, as the number of EV companies ballooned to 500. These requirements often tied to sales numbers, leading EV companies to strike deals with car-sharing companies to boost sales and earn incentives. However, these car-sharing companies had no intention of using all these EVs, resulting in the creation of EV graveyards filled with purchased and licensed but unused vehicles. Reason number 3, the struggle of all. Given the ongoing price war and other challenges in the Chinese EV industry, predictions of at least 20 more bankruptcies this year are unsurprising. What may surprise some is that it's not just small companies facing difficulties. Major car makers are also struggling. BYD, despite being profitable, is feeling the pinch. This brings us to NIO, another promising Chinese EV manufacturer. This company has invested billions in new facilities and employs around 11,000 workers. Logistically, everything seems in order. The problem lies in the sales numbers, which have fallen short of expectations, leading to a loss of $35,000 per vehicle last year. It's no wonder the company's management is currently touring the world, seeking fresh financial injections. These struggles among major players highlight the limitations of the Chinese market, which is our number 2 reason. Reason number 2, the constraints of the Chinese EV market. Despite its vast population, China's market has its limits and can't support the current influx of EV manufacturers. Many of these companies don't export their products, relying solely on domestic sales, a strategy that's proving untenable for most. The majority of EV manufacturers sell only a handful of cars and are on the brink of bankruptcy. The ongoing price war has left even profitable manufacturers operating on slim margins. Companies like Geely and MG, while not leading in China, have found success globally. They've positioned themselves as cost-effective alternatives to Western legacy brands. Their low production costs and competitive pricing keep them competitive with more prominent EV manufacturers like BYD. Essentially, survival hinges on international sales. Companies focused solely on the domestic market are facing an inevitable reckoning. The future of the EV industry in China will be shaped by these market dynamics, and only those who can adapt will survive. Reason number 1, the fall of 90% of EV manufacturers. We're witnessing a seismic shift in the Chinese EV landscape. It began with a surge of EV startups, reaching a peak of 500 manufacturers in 2019. But the landscape has since changed dramatically. Today, there are around 90 registered EV manufacturers in China, but a significant number of these are barely hanging on. Some sources suggest that a third of these companies produce fewer than 500 vehicles quarterly. If we include these, we could say that almost 90% of the 500 manufacturers from 2019 are effectively defunct. This trend is set to continue until only a few key players remain. Some companies will merge, others will go bankrupt. As it stands, just 10 companies hold 80% of the Chinese EV market, a percentage that's likely to increase in the coming years. Soon, the Chinese EV industry will be dominated by a handful of major automakers, while the rest will become footnotes in the history books, testament to the absurdity of China's massive electrification push. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of EVs. Don't forget to subscribe to Highway Herald to stay updated on the latest vehicle news and upcoming videos. See you next time.